Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, this is my second video for today, and I am going to put this one out today as long as my internet is working well. So you can all tell that I'm just sitting at home, not really doing anything, feeling a little bit better. Still have a little bit of pain, but it's being managed. But not managed to the point where I can't speak. Let's put it that way. So the title of this video is Some People Are Not Going to Make It. And if you bear with me, I wanted to go ahead and read to you a little bit of this article. And then I'm going to explain to you what I meant about that title. That some people are not going to make it. And I'm going to explain to you why. Alright, so please bear with me and let's go forward here. Alright, so this says here, waiting for a shutdown to end in disaster. Aides on Capitol Hill fear that a dramatic government failure may be the only way or the only thing to force President Trump and the Democrats back to the table. As the longest government shutdown in American history launches toward its fifth week, a grim but growing consensus has begun to emerge on Capitol Hill. There may be no way out of this mess until something disastrous happens. This is, of course, not a sentiment lawmakers are eager to share on the record. But in interviews this week with congressional staffers on both sides of the aisle, whom I granted anonymity in exchange for candor, I heard the same morbid idea expressed again and again. The basic theory, explained to me between weary sighs and defeated shrugs, goes like this. Washington is at an impasse that looks increasingly unbreakable. President Trump is dug in, so is Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Democrats have public opinion on their side, but the president is focused on his conservative base. For a deal to shake loose in this environment, it may require a failure of government so dramatic, so shocking, as to galvanize public outrage and force the two parties back to the negotiating table. In these interviews, I heard an array of, an array of macabre hypotheticals, from airplane crashes to food safety scares, TSA strikes to terrorist incidents. But the one theme that ran through every conversation was a sense that the current political dynamics won't change until voters get a lot angrier. Almost sounds like the Yellow Vests. This is all pageantry, a Democratic House aide said of the posturing by Trump and Congress. It's going to take a big national event to move things. I mean, we're at a standstill. One senior Republican Senate staffer told me he could envision the shutdown lasting until March, when federal funding dries up for food stamps, a crisis that would be hard for Washington to ignore. Not only are there going to be a lot of hungry families, he said, but there are going to be a lot of Walmart and Safeways and Krogers that are missing revenue. Others warned of potential flashpoints in America's airports, where TSA agents and air traffic controllers have already been working without pay for weeks. According to the Washington Post, some Republican lawmakers close to the White House have privately concluded that the shutdown won't end until TSA employees stay home and Americans get furious about their flights. On a similar, if darker note, I spoke to one congressional staffer who wondered about whether it might take a stressed out air traffic controller causing a plane crash to bring an end to the shutdown, and several aides worried about some kind of terrorist incident that would end up serving as the catalyst to get government up and running again. Doug Hay, a Republican strategist who spent more than a decade working in Congress, told me he could imagine the shutdown ending if the reported lapse in inspections from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration prompted a widespread food safety scare. We saw what happened with romaine lettuce a few weeks ago, he said. You give that same kind of scare to a ranch in California, and all of a sudden, not only do everyone's beef prices go up, but there is a mass panic. Of course, for many of the 800,000 federal workers who have been furloughed for weeks, struggling to scrape together rent payments and childcare money, the gridlock gripping Washington probably feels disastrous enough already. They don't need a big scary symbol of disarray to highlight the problem. They need their elected officials to do their jobs. Congress and the Trump administration should not have to wait for serious impacts to reverberate across the country for there to be action on this, Hayes said. But if this latest episode of Washington dysfunction has revered at times towards veepish absurdity, it is also emblematic of a more consequential chaos that defines the Trump era. If one thing unites most Republicans and Democrats on the Hill these days, it's that there is little use in trying to negotiate in good faith with the Trump White House. The president is simply too volatile, too prone to change his mind in a fit of pique, too apt to reverse course after watching Fox News. It was Trump, after all, who abruptly backed out and angered upon budget deal last month after right-wing media figures such as Ann Coulter started clamoring for border wall funding. Now that he's in the fight, Trump seems to be relishing the opportunities of showmanship that the shutdown affords him. Why bother governing a job he has rarely seemed to like when he can spend all day doling out quarter pounders to college football players, plotting publicity stunts and trading barbs with political enemies? As long as the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell stays in line and he's shown no signs that he plans to break ranks, the president will be free to keep the show going for as long as he wants. Alright, so that's all I'm going to read of this. Oh, it's not that much longer. I'll just finish reading the rest. Okay, it's only a couple more paragraphs. And so the quiet catastrophizing continues among the denizens of Capitol Hill. Even if some of their worst case shutdown scenarios remain unlikely, there are still plenty of paths forward that don't include body counts. The defeatism on display is revealing. It exposes the extent to which the latter-day crisis of faith in America's core political institutions has infected even the members of the institutions themselves. Okay, that's enough. So pretty much this article is pretty much saying that unless there's a major crisis, that this government shutdown is going to continue. So I guess they're playing chicken on who's going to flinch first or move out of the way first and keep the government shut down until one or the other gives in. Okay, so let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, why is the title of this video named "Some People Will Not Survive"? Because I'm not talking about some people will survive or not survive this government shutdown. I'm talking in general. In general, why will some people not survive some kind of an SHTF or some kind of a long-term crisis, right? Because people in general are still in the mindset that this matters. People in general are still in the mindset that there is a left and a right. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up. There is no left. There is no right. There is government. And you tell me, what is government? Government is the force that we the people allow government to have, to extort from us and to tell us how we can live our lives. Okay, I've seen so many comments on that EBT video that I did, just trying to teach people how to cook a inexpensive meal that would be fitting and nutritious for their family and their children especially. That when I read them, I'm like, this person's never going to make it should we ever have a long-term crisis. All right, and I just wanted to share one of those comments with you, because this one here is not actually a profane comment. But this person here says, bet y'all wished y'all didn't vote for Orange Trump now. It doesn't matter. Get it through your head. It does not matter. When has it ever mattered who is in that office? All right? I am a political atheist, which means that I don't go along any political lines. Because what you are doing when you're voting for the right or the left or for anyone is you are trying to appoint your own slave master. You are trying to vote in the person that you want to tell you what to do. Why can you not take responsibility for yourself and take care of yourself and take care of yours instead of voting for someone to take care of you? Okay, so this person obviously does not like Trump, and I could care less if this person liked Trump or didn't like Trump or liked whoever or didn't like whatever. But get out of the mentality that government is there for you. Government is not there for you. And especially those of you that may watch this video who are receiving some kind of government assistance. All right? Government is not there for you. Look at how quickly whatever it is that you're getting from government can be taken away. All right? This month you have this. Next month you don't have it. That's how quickly it can be taken away. And this is what you are relying on. You are relying on, when you vote, all right, for anyone, you are relying on them to keep their promise to you. Why would you rely on someone to keep their promise to you when all you have to do is get up off your seat and go and fulfill your own wishes on your own account? All right? Why don't you go live the life that you want to live? All right? By going to work, getting what you want, doing what you want to do, and not having to rely on someone else to tell you how you can or can't live your life. All right, that is freedom. All right, but when you're on one side or the other, all you're doing is one thing. All you're doing is playing into the hand of the people that feed you. You're playing right into their hands. Let's keep the country divided. Let's fight amongst one another. All right, let's argue with each other while 535 people plus 2 on the top, the president and the vice president, 537 people tell 329 million people how they can and cannot live. Get out of the system. Stop thinking that one or the other cares more. Because, ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is look back in time. What has gotten any better? All right? If you're talking about the United States, look back 50 years. And the reason I say look back 50 years is because I'm almost 50 years old. All right? So I can look back pretty far. What has gotten any better? Has anything gotten any better? We've had Republicans in office. We've had Democrats in office time and time and time again. One of them a Republican gets in office, and then the stock market crashes, and then the next election a Democrat gets in office because nobody wants a Republican in office because I lost money because of him, and so now I'm going to vote for a Democrat. Then a Democrat gets in office, and then they start doing all of these things that you don't like now, and then we put a Republican in office, and all meanwhile we're sending our kids to war so that they can die, so that these companies in the military-industrial complex can get richer. Okay, all meanwhile, while we're voting for these jokers to go up there and supposedly represent us, all meanwhile our children are dying. All meanwhile we have a cancer rate that's increasing and increasing. And why? Why are we getting sicker? Why don't we ask ourselves the questions that really matter instead of fighting with one another? Instead of arguing with one another that blue is better than red. No, red is better than blue. No, this is better than that. No, this is better than that. No, you're a racist. All right? Why do we have to argue with one another? We are doing exactly what it is that the system wants us to do. As long as we stay divided, as long as we're fighting with one another, we will lose. Because I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, we will lose. And especially those of you that really believe that one side cares for you more than the other side, you will be hurt the most, because you will more than likely not be prepping. If you're watching this video for the first time and you're not prepping and you're not trying to make yourself and make your life more self-reliant in the case that we run into a crisis where you cannot attain the sustenance that you require to live on a day-to-day basis, then you will not survive. If you spend your time every day being bitter over your life because of who's in office, you will not survive. If you spend your energy blaming everyone else for your failures because of this or that, you will not survive. If you spend your time going through YouTube, leaving comments like this because for some reason your life didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, and you have to take it out on someone, you will not survive. Get out of the left and right paradigm mentality. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself what is it that you want, and go get it. Because if you rely on someone else to run your life for you, you will not survive. You will be at their behest. I saw a terrible video, I think it was yesterday, of a very nice lady that was being interviewed by some reporter, I forgot where, but she was a government worker who's been furloughed without pay. She seemed like a very nice lady, and it made me feel very sad. She was actually begging, please open up the government. She said, please open up the government so that we don't lose everything we have. When you put all of your eggs in one basket, eventually a coyote is going to come and eat those eggs. If you rely on one thing for your living, eventually that one thing will fail. In prepping, we have something that's called multiple points of failure. And if there's only one point of failure in your life, then you're setting yourself up for, not for success, but you're setting yourself up for failure. Stop looking at someone else to tell you how to live. Live for yourself. Live by your wit. Be responsible for yourself. I don't need to elect someone so that he or she can tell me how I can live my life. I know how to live my life. I have a mom and dad who raised me, who taught me good morals. And I do believe that when everyone is born, they are born with a moral compass that allows them to depict what is right and what is wrong. So if you think it's right to vote for someone, all right, so that they can tell you how to live and then tell everyone else how to live, you will not survive. Because all you have to do is study history. We human beings are very simple animals. We are very simple and we are not very intelligent. Why? Because throughout history, we make the same mistakes over and over and over again. And all we're doing now is making the same mistake that humanity has made over and over throughout history. We are being led to the slaughter, not by our masters, but by ourselves. And how are we doing that? Through division. We are falling for the divide and conquer. We are being divided, and at the same time we are being conquered. Why? Because we have this mentality that tells us that one side is better than the other. There's only one side for me. All right? There's only one side for me. The man upstairs put me down here to live a life, and I want to live my life. All right? The man upstairs gave me free will. Therefore, I want to use my will to make my life the best that I can make it. I don't want to force you to make my life for me. And I don't want to vote for you or anyone to tell me how I can live my life. So those of you that are still stuck on a left-right paradigm, you're not going to survive. And especially those of you that think that one side or the other is going to save you, I wish you were right, but you're not. Where's your side now? Whoever is being affected by this government shutdown, where's your side now? Where's your side at? Are they there paying your rent or your bills? If you've been affected by this and you haven't received a paycheck, have they come over to pay your bills? No, you know who's going to pay your bills? Either you or your family or your community. Or maybe your church can help you as well. That's who's going to help you. That's what government should be restricted to. All right? It should be restricted at a community level. Right? Because that's what really matters. Your world around you is your community. So those of you that are being affected by government, where's your government now? Where are they now to pay your bills? I truly do hope that this ends quickly and that those people that were affected by this, that they've learned a lesson and they start prepping. And having said that, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't started prepping and you're listening to this, welcome to the Alaska Prepper channel. On this channel, we've built a great community of like-minded people that like to reach one, teach one, and repeat. And what that means is that we like to reach people that want to learn about prepping, that want to be self-reliable so that they can rely on themselves when hard times hit. And they don't have to rely on the government to take care of them because they have the forethought and the discipline to take care of themselves. So to you, ma'am, no, I didn't vote. And I won't. Why? Because my life is mine. And I'm not going to give my permission to anyone to tell me how to live my life. Ladies and gentlemen, remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. And you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.